A modern election is a mechanical system. It relies on strict inputs, the voters, to generate strict outputs, the representatives. There is a common misconception that autocrats steal these elections on election day by stuffing ballot boxes. In reality, modern electoral fraud is achieved months in advance through systemic engineering and bureaucratic barriers to entry. The primary mechanism for this control is the signature quota. In many systems, a new political group must gather 10,000 notarized signatures within a strict 30-day window just to get on the ballot. This quota is publicly justified as a way to ensure only serious candidates run. In practice, it is mathematically engineered to block organic, localized competition from ever organizing. In this environment, political power is a function of institutional resources, the capacity to appear on the ballot in the first place. The reality of a 10,000 signature quota requires centralized networks and massive funding, creating an impenetrable wall for grassroots movements. Meanwhile, large party machines bypass it. As they pass, incumbent regimes use state databases to instantly generate signatures, cloning fake, state-backed opposition parties, creating a phantom list. These phantom lists serve a precise mathematical purpose on election day: to clutter the ballot, confuse the electorate, and fractionally dilute the genuine opposition's vote share. There is a direct financial motive behind the exploit. Phantom lists exist to siphon massive amounts of state-funded campaign money into private, regime-adjacent hands. Lowering the overall signature barrier is insufficient to defeat this exploit. The architecture of candidate entry must be mathematically patched. Patch 1, the localized solution, replaces the centralized mass quota with a decentralized micro-level requirement. Instead of 10,000 bulk signatures for a massive party list, a political group only needs to submit a lean list of at least 8 individual candidates. Each of these 8 candidates is now personally responsible for collecting exactly 50 signatures. We then apply a strict geographic lock. At least 25 of those signatures must originate from the candidate's immediate local municipality. This breaks the phantom list exploit at the source. Central partly coordinate local actors in isolated zones to fake grassroots support, creating massive logistical friction. Conversely, genuine grassroots movements inherently possess these local connections, even if they lacked national logistical networks. Geographic decentralization neutralizes the regime's advantage of scale, making phantom lists physically and operationally unsustainable. We also have to address the financial incentive that drives these lists: the extraction of public campaign funds. Under the current architecture, simply appearing on the ballot guarantees an influx of state money with zero accountability for the actual election result. Patch 2, the financial trap, weaponizes campaign finance against bad actors. To accept any public campaign funds, every candidate on a list must legally post personal financial collateral or promissory notes. This means the candidate's private assets, homes, cars, and bank accounts, are bound to their political performance. This alters the psychology of the candidate, transforming a risk-free grift for a central boss into a high-stakes personal gamble. By tying public funding directly to personal liability, the system forces potential phantom candidates to put their financial survival on the line before ever seeing a ballot. The mechanical trigger for this filter is the 10x rule. On the left side of this logic model, signature inputs. On the right, required vote outputs. A 10-candidate list needs exactly 500 signatures. To avoid the financial trap, they must win 10 times that number, 5,000 votes. A 10x yield is a feasible threshold for an authentic political movement that genuinely engages its community. However, hitting a 10x multiplier is an impossible mathematical hurdle for a phantom list that has no real voters. This mathematical threshold acts as an automated, frictionless filter, distinguishing authentic civic engagement from manufactured political noise. When a phantom list fails to hit the 10x vote threshold on election day, automated consequences execute. The failed list is legally mandated to return the public campaign funds at a massive 10-fold multiplied penalty. Using the collateral posted earlier, the state freezes bank accounts and liquidates the private assets of the fake candidates to cover the debt. These seized assets are legally redirected toward public goods, such as treating sick children, turning corruption into public funding. This flips the risk-to-reward ratio. No rational actor will serve as a fake candidate when the guaranteed outcome is their own bankruptcy. The elegance of this patch is that you do not need to legally ban fake parties. The threat of financial ruin ensures they will self-select out of the race. By combining decentralized signature verification with weaponized game theory, we engineer an electoral architecture where autocracy is mathematically priced out, leaving the ballot open exclusively to authentic democratic representation.